It's good to have you with us. OK, moving on. If you're struggling with a problem pooch, the Dogfather is here to help and he's taking your calls in today's phone. Good to have you with us, Graeme.
Thank you for having me.
How's it going? Let's see who is on the first line. We did have Deborah, but Deborah, we hope the Chihuahua hasn't turned on her, so maybe, hopefully, we'll get back to Deborah. So we're going to go to Marion now on line 1 from Cornwall, who wants to know about therapy dog breeds. Hello, Marion.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Marion.
Hi.
What would you like to ask Graeme?
OK, so we have a 9-year-old son who's autistic and has ADHD. And we are looking at getting a therapy dog for him, but we would like to know which would be the best breed that would help.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting. Well, the first thing to say is great idea. Loads of autistic people and people with ADHD really benefit from having a dog for loads of reasons. So, which breed? This is the bit where I probably make people with a kind of dog very happy and I'll upset 99 breed fans. But let's talk generally. You need a dog, I would suggest, who's going to be pretty calm. So if your son suffers from sort of sensory issues, you don't want a dog who's barking lots and really, really excitable. So think in terms of perhaps, you probably know what I'm going to say, Labrador, I've said it before, they're a pretty good bet. But also, this might surprise you. I used to have Rottweilers.
I love Rottweilers.
I
love them.
They can be great, big, calm galoots. Mine were. If they're well-bred and they're well brought up, they are a big, powerful dog, so you need to think about that. But that's a potential. I know that's a surprise, but what I'm trying to illustrate here is it's not one particular breed, necessarily, but a calm influence, a nice, steady, reassuring dog. That's what you need.
My sister, talk about it whenever we talk about dogs, has a lurcher and a whippet cross, and they're incredibly, like, chill dogs, aren't they?
They
like,
really
after they get one big run in them, for the rest of the day, they're so relaxed.
Yeah, so a lot of those sight hounds, like, you know, greyhounds, whippets, they run like crazy for a couple of minutes and then they just chill out. They're underneath the blanket on the bed.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, so there's another possibility, but that's the kind of thinking. What you probably don't want, at the risk of upsetting loads of people, is a really young border collie, for example, who was sort of bred to be on a farm and running around like mad. They've got a job to do. That's probably not the kind of energy you're after. So
the same with the kind of gun dog, Springer Spaniel sort of side?
Yeah, they vary so much to Springers. But, yeah, the word you need to think about is calm.
Yeah. A
calm, steady dog. So talk to the breeders and be honest with them, you know. If you've got a good feel for the breeder, they've got a good feel for you, they'll advise you.
Lovely.
Okay. Was that helpful, Marion?
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank
you.
You're welcome. Best of luck.
Next up, we've got Deborah. She's back on the line. Hello, Deborah.
Good morning.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey.
That's your little Chihuahua.
That's him. That's the devil.
So tell us about your problem then.
Yeah, he's a rescue, and the history of him. I think he was beaten as a very small pup by the man of the house, and that's my problem. He absolutely hates my husband. From the point, you know, he can smell him from the top of the road. He knows the colour of his car. He knows his voice on my phone, and he runs around in circles, barks, just goes absolutely berserk and fretful this minute he comes in. And I'm just going to get him to walk into the room now, and you'll know.
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
And he'll do that. I've tried all of your tips. He'll do that all night from the minute he gets home.
Yeah. OK. Right.
That's the problem, isn't it, Deborah?
Let's have a chat. So, I presume you like your husband. That's not the issue.
No,
we've got to try and convince him that actually this guy is OK, really, despite what he might have learned in the past, right? So, what does he want? Think of this from a dog's point of view. That's the secret, right? He wants your husband to go away. So he barks and he barks and he barks, and eventually your husband walks out the room, I guess, sooner or later. Bound to happen, isn't it? So what I would do is I'd have your husband sat down, perhaps on a sofa, less imposing that way. Bring your dog in. You know, your dog... I didn't catch his name. I'm sorry. What's his name?
The dog's name, Gizmo.
Gizmo. Cool. So we'll get Gizmo just to do his thing. Once he starts to calm down a little bit, you'll hear it coming, like... Rah, 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 rah. Once he's gone down a bit, that's when you get your husband to just drop a couple of treats on the floor. do this when your dog's hungry, right? But also, your husband, it's really important that he doesn't approach the dog and try and make friends. That'll be just too much. So what we're doing is we're saying, when you go quiet, you discover that actually this guy carelessly drops treats. He's a good guy, right? And we're actually rewarding the moment as he comes towards you. So I think that's the trick. And if he keeps going, one of you's going to give in. Either Gizmo's going to calm down or your husband's going to leave. So you need to make sure that actually he leaves when the dog calms down. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does. Thank you.
That's a plan.
Go.
Deborah, is your husband quite hurt from it all? Because when an animal doesn't like me, it really hurts my feelings.
Yes, he is. He wouldn't admit that, but he really is. And he does try really hard with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way he's budging.
And do you know what, Deborah? The irony of this is that sometimes the harder you try, the worse you make it.
Yeah.
Because you're there going, it's OK, I'm OK, I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice guy. And the dogs get off me, you're coming towards me, you know? So we've got to let Gizmo do it in his own time. He needs to approach your husband and be rewarded for that.
So it's not too late after 6 years of trying this.
No, it's never too late. Never too late.
Okay.
Good luck, Deborah.
Good
and
luck,
well done
Deborah.
for getting a rescue as well. Good for you.
I had the same situation once, but I quite liked it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hang on. Where were you? Where were you in the equation?
But my dog didn't like my partner, and every time he went to come near me, she'd go...
You quite like the fact
I
that
quite
the
like
dog-
that.
Zoe in Essex. How you doing, Zoe?
Hello there. Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
nice to talk to you. What would you like to ask Graeme?
I'd like to ask him, funnily enough, I have a border collie, cross whippet. Rescue dog, I've had him a year. He intercepted a burglary, I believe, and he was stabbed with a screwdriver.
Oh, dear. Right, OK. Is he OK now?
Yeah, we've had him a year. He's fine. He's fit as a fiddle. He's very friendly. He never growls at anybody. He loves children. But he has so many problems. He won't leave me alone for starters. He follows me everywhere. And funnily enough, it's my husband that is the real dog lover. He follows me everywhere. He jumps up on people. He barks, and he's really upset. He barks, but he's also crying when he hears a motorbike or a car or people talking out the front. I have to sit here with my windows closed all the time.
Yeah, bless him.
Traumatised, isn't he?
You see that picture there? You know, there's a picture of a nervous dog. You know, his ears are back. He looks scared. I mean, I hear stories like this from time to time where something horrible happened to a dog, and it's perfectly understandable that they would then become anxious. What then happens is we sometimes, dare I say, overcompensate, you know, because we're all dog lovers. It's like, everything's OK, darling. So as soon as the dog starts to look anxious, we're a little bit, everything's all right, it's OK, it's OK. And we just lock them in. So the good news, if you can say that when you've got a case like this, is that dogs actually are pretty good at overcoming things, better than humans, I've found in the past. But it needs a human who's sort of rising over and being nice and calm with the dog. So just check with yourself that you're not, I don't want to say pandering to your dog, that would be unfair, but you've got to make sure that when your dog's at their most anxious, that you're not the one going in, giving them big cuddles for that. Make them comfortable, make them reassured. But it's those slightly braver moments that you really want to be, you know, going, oh, good boy, oh, look, you're looking curious, and that kind of thing. But it is that general demeanour. We've all been with certain people who make us feel calmer and reassuring. Just their presence, they've got something about them. It's like, everything's OK. And the opposite, yeah, I'd like to think maybe.
You got that.
But the opposite is, if you've ever been in a room with somebody who's on edge and nervous, maybe in a waiting room somewhere and a bit like this, before you know it, you're on edge as well.
You feel on edge as well,
And
right.
dogs are no different. So just the advice, really, I would say is, you know, in the time we've got, is try and be that calm and reassuring person. That's the way forward with an anxious dog.
Best of luck, Zoe. Thank you. And thanks so much, Graeme.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's so great to have you with us.
It's always great to be here.
A quick word about tomorrow's show, giving you another chance